Cool. How are you guys? Good. Nice. Well, hello, Laracon India. Very nice to be here. It's my first time in India. I'm very, very excited to be here. Yeah, today we're going to be talking about Filament. Cool. I really hope to give you guys some insights about Filament and to show you how powerful it is and how fast you can build apps with Filament. Is this on? Let's see. Yeah. But before, let's just introduce myself. My name is Lucas Giovanny. I am the engineer team lead at Worksom. I am originally from Brazil, but I have been living in Portugal for the past 5 years. Yeah, I've spoken at different Laracons, and it's my first time here in India. I'm very excited to be here presenting today. Make sure to follow me on Twitter. I'll give you some giveaways at the end of the talk, so be sure to be following me there, and we'll make some fun. Cool. What is Filament PHP then? So basically, Filament it's a Laravel package. Essentially, it's a bundle of cool tools that can make you create very nice applications, very fast applications. So anything you want, from building admin panels, apps, SaaS, or anything you can imagine, you can do it with Filament PHP. So it's a bundle of tools to boost actually your productivity. And for me, it's the perfect starting point for your next application, right? So it's built with Tall Stack. You have the best of Tailwind, Alpine, Liveware, and of course, Laravel. So when you require filaments, the filament package on your Laravel application, essentially what we get, it's all of this. You have the core of Filament, which is the panel builder. We're gonna see it later on. And then you have some other packages, which is the form builder, table builder, the actions, the info list, and also the widgets. Something that maybe people doesn't know is that you can actually use any of those packages separately. If you don't want to install the panel builder, you can actually use on your Laravel application. Since it are just Liveware components, you can actually use just the table builder if you want, or just the form builder. We're going to see each one of those in a second. But essentially, what Filament is, it's this bundle of tools that can make you boost your productivity and make you build such amazing apps and so fast. So we're going to see it on code. I think it's the best way to explain to you. It's actually coding. So let's see how we can do this. Just put the water here. Cool. Right. So what I have here, it's essentially a brand new Laravel application, right? Nothing more than that. And what we're gonna do today here, we're gonna create airline system. So I already created here 3 models that we're gonna use. First one is the aircraft model, right? That you have here basically the manufacturer, the model, and the capacity. You have also the airport model, and you have your flight models and all your relations with that. So essentially what I did here is just a brand new Laravel application with those models in, so we can work with it. Okay. The first thing you want to do is actually require Filament PHP. So you can actually recompose or require filament/filament. And I already did that, so Filament is pre-installed on this application. So we already have Filament in. Like I said, Filament, the first and most important thing of Filament is to create panels, right? You can create as much panels as you want separately. And we're gonna create our first panel here. So basically you can make PHP artisan, make we're gonna actually install the Filament panel, right? So PHP artisan Filament install panels, right? So the first thing Filament is gonna ask you is what your panel name, right? Or your panel ID. So on our case here, it's going to be the admin panel. But remember, you can have multiple panels on your application. On our case here, we could have, for example, the client the client panel, or even other types of panels. So we're going to create here the first one, which is the admin. After I do that, Filament we're going to create here for me, we're going to see that we have essentially a new provider here under Filament folder, which it contains all my panel configurations, all right? So if I go here on my application now and tap /admin, which is my my admin ID, you see that here I already have the login for my panel, right? There's two ways now that we can log in. So we can actually create a user, because this is attached to the Laravel authentication and Laravel model user. So you can actually create a user from here, from the terminal. Filament already gave you some cool shortcut for that. You can say Filament create, make Filament user, and I say Lucas, and then type my email. And that's it. I already have a user here. Or if you are creating an application that you allow users to sign in, you can simply go here to your panel and say you want to enable registration. After I do that, you're gonna see that I'm gonna have to sign up for an account here, where if I click, I can basically create a user here as well. But let's just use the user I created and logging in. Cool, I'm in. So that's empty panel now, right? So what we're gonna do now is actually creating our resources to manage our model. So the Filament resource is one of the second things that most important that you need to understand, because every time you create a resource, it's actually attached to a model, right? And with that, you can manage your application and create things very quickly. So the first resource, or the first model we want to manage here, is the airport model. So what I'm going to do here is to create PHP art. So I'm just going to use my alias. As you see here, I have an alias for that, which is make Filament resource. It's going to ask me what is my model name, the model I'm going to attach to the resource. So I say airport model. So what Filament did here for me is to create a resource, right? And also a few pages, which is the create, edit, and list airports. If I go to my application here, we're going to see that I already have the airport resource here on the left, right? If I click, you're going to see that I'm accessing the resource, airport resource. There's no controllers, there's no routes. Filament does everything for you. So if you go here now and explore our resource, you're going to see some cool things. So if I go to my airports resource, if I want to create a new airport, well, you're going to see that it's empty. That's because Filament doesn't know yet how I want to create my resources, right? My model. So if I go here to my airport model, and I'm going to see that I have name, city, country, and code for my airport. So I can start using it and defining all the components I want to create the form, right? So I'm going to use a text input for all of those. So I can import a text input from the form right here. So I can just say make name, which is the name of my airport. And just by importing that here on my schema, which is the text input component, if I refresh the page, you're going to see that I already have a nice component here, right? I can continue doing that, and I'll say code, city, and country. Right. Basically, I have everything here already. I can create my new airport here now. So let's say Lisbon airport, code, Lisbon, and say Portugal. Cool. When I create, you're going to see here that it's created already. Filament redirects me to the edit page already. Again, there's no controllers, there's nothing. You can just see it works, right? Basically, everything that I need to do to manage models on this is to create these 4 lines of code to import those components. If I come back here to the listing page of the airport, you're going to see that I don't have anything yet. But you can see that Filament is already loading the resource that I created, but he doesn't know how to show it yet. So that's why we have the table definition here, where we can import columns to show components to show how you want to display your resources, right? Your model. So the first thing I want to do here is to import text column from the tables right here. And again, I'm going to use the attributes that I just created. Well, let's say name. Let's just copy that here for code, city, and country. And voila, we have Filament already showing me all the information here, right? All the components here, there's a lot of cool things that you can do to make it work better. For example, the code, it's something that we want to display as a badge here, for example. So I can just attach, for example, a badge to my text column. If I type here, go again, you can see that I have already a nice badge to display, right? I already created, Filament already create some actions for you. If I click edit, I have the delete action right here. It's everything already working for me. I don't need to do anything, just manage for me. Cool. The second thing I want to do here now, let's move on and let's create the next resource. So let's make another resource. It's going to be the aircraft resource. Again, I create a new resource here. So if I go on my application, I already have the new resource here. So let's open my resource, the aircraft resource. You're going to see it's the same. I can start defining my aircraft model here. So if I go to my model, we're going to see that I have the manufacturer, model, and the capacity. So we're going to use a text input, make manufacturer, and then we're going to have here the model and the capacity. Cool. Again, if I go here, you're going to create it. But you can see here that actually my manufacturer, it's an enum, right? So I created here already an enum for this. So what makes sense for me is to have a select, right? Where people can just select a predefined thing. So instead of the text input, we're going to use a select, right? So it's another form component. There's a bunch of components that you can use, but you're going to use a select here. Again, we're going to say main name, the attribute. If I go here to my application, you're going to see that I don't have anything yet, so I need to give the options to it. And since it's a PHP enum, I can simply send here the aircraft manufacturer enum class, and then it's going to load for me all the enums possibilities. But you can see here that it's all uppercase, it's not looking very nice. So what we can do is here on my enum, we actually can implement some cool things. For example, saying that this enum has label. So I'm importing that from the Filament. The PHP Storm is complaining here already that I need to implement the getLabel method, right? And from here, I need to return what the label is going to be for each case. So we can actually do a math here and say this. I'm going to return, for example, South Airbus, and say Airbus, and then I can just do it the same for Boeing and Embraer, for example. And see that I already nicely created here. Whoops. Yep, you can see that I nicely created here the label for my select. So let's create an aircraft here. Let's say model and then capacity. I have no idea, but let's say 300. Cool. So again, what we need to do, go back here on my resource. I'm gonna just create some columns here for that. So text column, make manufacturer. I'm gonna do the same for model and capacity. Cool. So I already say here. So you're going to see that here on the table, it already loading the label that I created for the enum. So if I want to do that, for example, also a label like I did for the Oh, sorry, not a budget, a budget. Like I did for my airport here. There's another cool thing that we can do, and we can import here also has color, and do the same and actually return a nice color and a different color for each of my cases. So I'm just copy this here. So instead of returning, just copying this here, instead of returning here, I can return a new instance of the filament color, for example, which is a nice enum. And I can say Airbus, it's blue. Boeing is green. And I don't know, Embraer is yellow. Yeah, and then you're gonna see here that it's already loading the color for me. Cool. Now, what we're gonna do? We're gonna do our last resource, which is the flight resource. So again, flight resource right here. But the cool thing you're gonna see here for the flight resource, it's actually the relationships. So let's open here my flight resource. We're gonna go and do the same. So for my flight, I need to have, of course, an aircraft and the airport, right? So we're gonna create here a text input, make, and then we're gonna say the number of my flight, and then I want to actually select the aircraft. So I'm going to use a select here, make, and then aircraft ID. Remember, this needs to be your attribute from your model. So, all right. So if I go here on my flight and try to create a new flight, you're going to see that, of course, I don't have any option, but I can easily, since I have here already defined on my model that I have a relationship with the aircraft, I can just simply do here a relationship with Filament, and it's gonna load for me the, I need to tap here and say relationship with aircraft. Right, relationship, aircraft relationship. Oh, yeah, sorry, I need to say what attribute I'm gonna display, right? I don't have a name, I have a model. Jesus. Cool, that's it. So I need to say relationship, the name of the relationship I have here, which is the aircraft, and which attribute of that aircraft I want to use as a select. So here you see that I already loading for me all the aircrafts I have. So let's do one thing here. Let's just create another few aircrafts. Say 10. Cool. So you can see here that I have already a lot of aircrafts loaded. Cool. Nice. What else we can have here? Cool. Again, so yeah, let's do one thing here. I'm going to use the same here to create my flight factory. I'm going to create a few flights here using the factory. Okay, cool. Just to show you here how it works also with the table. So if I want to show my relationships here, which I want to use a text column, make, for example, aircraft, and I want to display the model of my aircraft, I can easily use the dot notation here and show the information already. If I want to show the manufacturer, for example, I can just show here and it's gonna be displaying for me. Cool. Yeah, what else you can see cool from Filament? Nice, we saw how to create our resource. Let's see my time here. Now, let's go back. I'm gonna change branches here real quick. I have another branch. Cool. I'm gonna composer dump auto load on this branch just quickly so we can see everything working. Right. Oh, git checkout final. Oh, sorry. I need to stash my things. Let's just delete those real quick. And then let's check in on this branch. Yep. Cool. You see here that I have a more completed version of this system that we're creating. And what we're going to implement here, what else do we have when we create some systems? Well, we need some filters, right? And Filament can do that very easily for you. So let's go to our airports resource and create some filters. So here on the table, I already have these filters where I can just create some nice filters for our resource. So the first filter I want to say is the city filter. So let's say I want to have a input filter, sorry, text filter, Jesus, select filter. Yeah, I want to make a select filter name, for example. You're gonna see here that I have this new option here that's gonna show for me already by definition, and I can already show all the names of the airports if I want, or all the cities, all the countries, everything that I just can add a new filters. We have, you can see that we have actions already defined on this, predefined by Filament. We have the edit action, the delete actions. I can create custom actions. So let's say for my flights, let's go to my flight resource here, where I have, we're going to create a new action here for my flights. So let's say that I want to change my flight to the status of delayed. So what I can do, I'm going to create a new action here, and then say that set delayed. What this is going to do is action. I receive here the actual model, the flight model, as a record. Update, I can just say here status, and then I can say flight status enum delayed, for example. Right, this is one thing that we can do here to make an action works. What I'm doing wrong here? Right. Oh shit. Yeah, where is that here? Right. Oh, sorry. Update statuses. Yeah. Oh, Jesus Christ. Sorry, guys. Cool. But basically, I have here this action that I can create. This custom action. Where, Jesus Christ? What is happening to me today? Yeah. Wow. Jesus Christ. That was... But yeah, you see here that if I just create a new action that if I can set delayed, I automatically gonna set the status of my flight here as delayed, right? Cool. The same works with book actions. You're gonna see here that I already have by defined the delete book actions. If I select all resources that I want here to delete, I can just select one, go book action, and delete those. It already worked. I can create custom actions to make the same. I could create the same action here to make book actions for those flights, right? Cool. Where else can we see it? Here above Filament. Right. Another thing that we need to do very often when you create this is the search, right? So let's say we want to search for a certain number. So if I go here on my text column number for my flight resource, where is it? The text column number. I can just implement here the searchable is searchable. Searchable, sorry. Yeah. Just by doing that, just by doing searchable here, you can see that I already have a search implemented here by default where I can search by the number. So if I just tap here and 1 and you're gonna search for me automatically. I can do that with all my columns if I want to. Cool, that's a little bit of what Filament can do and how fast you can build apps with it. So now, one thing that I want to show you guys, it's what is coming in for the version 4 of Filament. So let me just get back to my slides here. So for those who already work with Filament, there's new things coming up for Filament version 4. And I'm very excited to show you guys a little bit of what we can do with this new version. Okay, first thing is the Tailwind upgrade. So Filament version 4 support version 4 of the Tailwind upgrade of the Tailwind. So that's a very nice upgrade for us. The performance boost. It's really gonna performance boost your Filament application, because one thing that for those who already work with huge forms or huge tables or a lot of different fields, you're going to see that the performance can drop quite significantly, because everything it's rendered by liveware. So all the requests goes to the server and come back. That's a definition by the liveware. But with this new Filament, you can actually be using the partial rendering for liveware updates. So basically, you're going to have new options for your components like this. So partially render after state update, for example. So you're going to have full control of what you can do with your components. For example, you can set a group of components that to render after the state updated for certain input that you're making, or you can actually skip one state update for a specific element, right? One thing that it's going to change also is the schema definitions, right? You're going to have a unified schema definitions for your Filament. There's no need anymore to import or import actually wrong the schema that you are trying to work with. So everything's going to be under the same schema. We're going to have more advanced nested panel resource. So for those who already work with Filament knows that you can create nested resource and manage resource inside resource, but now we can have a more advanced relationship from it. And one of my favorites so far, it's going to be the table builder, where you can be creating tables with any data source and not only attach it to the model like I showed, where you don't need to have a model anymore for your tables. You can create tables with array, collections, custom DB query, or actually from an API. So for example, you can have a table where you basically do a request directly from the API, for example, and show and use all the table benefits, filters, searching, everything from that. That's so great to have. Yeah, we're gonna have this new records, yeah, and you're gonna be able to do it so far. Yeah, cool. That's a little bit of Filament PHP and how you can do nice things, build things real fast. I wish we're gonna have more time here to show how powerful it is to create a lot of things, but you saw the idea on how you can, on a few lines of code, create awesome applications. And I'm very happy to show any one of you guys who want to see it later on. Just find me and make sure to follow me on Twitter so you can have a chance to giving away 1 year of Laracast. Cool. Also, just one quick saying that works on, we're hiring. So if you have interest in to work with us, just scan this QR code, fill up the form, and we're gonna reach out to you. And I guess that's it. Thank you. You can find out about Filament PHP, and thank you.
That's perfect. I have good news for you, and I have also bad news for you.
Ooh.
What to start first?
Bad news first, I guess.
Bad news first. You need to spend more time than what you have planned to connect with audience.
Yes.
because currently, right now, the time you are spending is not enough for them.
Okay.
Now, good news. Good news is that you got the maximum number of questions asked so far.
Wow, that's great.
I've just counted. You got more than 80 people asked you questions.
Wow.
More than 80 questions you have.
Wow, that's great.
So the maximum, so you need to spend good amount of time with them.
Yeah, I'll be there. I'll be there the whole
And the
afternoon.
questions are all different. Some sorting, searching, new version of Filament,
Yeah,
comparing
let's
with
go.
others, tables, redesigning. Lot of questions are there. But I'll pick
Bring
one
on.
question which is something where people would like to understand. Do we have Asif Sheikh? If you are there, please come nearby. Do we have? He's there. No problem. Oh. So his question is, how do you balance adding powerful features to Filament while maintaining high performance in large scale applications?
I think with this new approach that we're gonna have on Filament version 4, which is partially rendering for liveware, that's gonna be so powerful for you developers that you be able to control your whole application, what to render, where to render, and when. You know, like everything's gonna be on your control, instead of having Filament the way the version 3 works now, which is render everything together. So on that matter, you're gonna be able to grow your application without worrying too much about if it's gonna be too heavy or if you're gonna be, slow for some requests.
Yep, perfect. So please spend more time with all.
Yeah.
You also need more time to give all the
Yeah,
answers.
I'll do that.
Yeah, please.